Welcome back. You are still watching Morning Live. Now, the FIH Indoor Hockey World Cup will be taking place in the month of February out in Croatia. And South Africa will be represented by both the men's and women's team. Now, as part of our build-up to the tournament, we've roped in the coaches of both these teams. Joining me in studio is Coach Justin Rosenberg. He coaches the men's team. And joining us virtually, we've got Coach AJ Spieringshoek. Coach, good morning to you. Let's start with the coach that's joining us virtually. AJ, speak to us about looking at the upcoming FIH Indoor Hockey World Cup. How have the preparations been from the point of view?
It's been pretty good. I mean, the last tournament we played together as a team was in Corsi Cup in December. There was a lot of things that obviously we took from there because we didn't get the result, at least from a result point of view, it wasn't what we wanted. But there were a few things that we picked up from a positive and negative side. We haven't had a chance to be together as a team since then. The girls have all been training at least 2 to 3 times a week since then. And the energy levels are high, the motivation's high, and I think the determination from the players is really high as well. We've got a fair bit of training in Croatia when we get there next week. 3 training matches and 6 training sessions, so that is quite it's not as much as what we wanted, but it's enough for us to be ready for the tournament. But everybody's looking forward to it, and everybody's putting in the extra effort to make sure that we can be successful.
Speaking about putting in extra effort, Coach Justin, we know that one of the biggest challenges that is faced by hockey in South Africa is funding. Speak to me about what it's looking like at the moment, in particular when you look at your preparations for this World Cup. How is the funding looking? Are there any funding challenges you're facing at the moment, and how are you looking at navigating around those? Because that must, from a mental point of view, affect not only you, but the players as well.
Yeah, and if you listen to AJ just earlier saying that obviously they're only going to meet on Monday before we fly out to Croatia. We're obviously in a position where the players will meet tomorrow. We start our final camp in Joburg, so we'll be training for the next 4 days together. But obviously from a financial point of view, it's been quite a struggle. We've been fortunate enough to get 2 more sponsors to come on board to help us with that funding for the World Cup, and that's the likes of Coronation and Spec, which was added to our title sponsor, Sport Tops. But again, some players are obviously still having to fund out some funds to go to the World Cup, which obviously from a mental point of view, that again, we just want them to focus on playing, but currently they also now need to know they need to put a payment plan into fork out for the World Cup.
And I mean, AJ, when we look at the fact that you go to the World Cup where you're going up against nations where they have players who all they do is play hockey for a living, and here you are with a team made up of players who still have to have their 9 to 5. Speak to me about, from a realistic point of view, what are the targets you've set for yourself as a team going into this World Cup? What are your expectations?
I think when we started this program, just shortly after I was appointed in April 2023, the discussion was always, you go to a World Cup to win the World Cup. Now, obviously, it's easy to say that, and then when things don't go well, you blame it on certain excuses. But we've taken that approach because we know that we're not going to the World Cup just to participate. I think to ask about realistic goals is very difficult to answer because you have a team like our pool. We've got Austria, Poland and Thailand. All 3 teams are incredibly good at the game of indoor, and Austria and Poland probably up there in the top 5, despite what the rankings say, probably in the top 5 in the world. So for us, I think the key is to try and just take every game as it comes. I mean, I know it sounds a cliche to say that, but it is very important in a World Cup scenario to make sure that you're looking at the next pass. I think in everybody's mind, I think we would like to go better than 4th place than what we did in 2023, because 2023 was a pretty special World Cup for us. But it's all about what we do in our preparation and the mental approach that we take for each game. I do think that this is a team, and I think the men as well, both teams can be medal contenders at this World Cup, but there's a lot that has got to go right, and there's a lot of things that we've got to understand that when we go there, we're playing for our country and for nothing else. So I think that from an expectation point of view is to take that next game as it comes. If we make it out of the pool, and then we just take whatever playoff comes our way. But we will say this, is that whatever we're going to do, we're playing 110% to try and make it to that gold medal.
playing 110% to try and make it to that gold medal. For you, Coach Justin, from your point of view, because we spoke about how your sponsors are the ones that are making all the difference right now. And in fact, it's the national team players that pay to play for the national team versus the other way around. When you come into the World Cup this time around, what are your expectations? What are you looking to take away?
Now, looking at the team makeup again, it's one of the most experienced teams we've had at a World Cup. Realistically, we're going to play the tournament and play each game as it comes. We've really got a tough pool. We've got the host nation, Croatia. Then we obviously play Austria, who's #1 in the world. And then Poland's just ranked 1 above us. So we do have a really tough pool. We're looking obviously to get out of the pool, get into a quarterfinal. Like AJ says, whatever game we get in the quarterfinal, we want to make sure we get through that and achieve one better. So we made a quarterfinal of the previous World Cup, which was held in Pretoria. Now we want to go one better and make a semi-final. And I think the guys are up for the challenge. And again, the experience we have, we got guys making their debut in terms of the first World Cup, second. We've got 2 players on there that have already played 3. And then Justin Dominic is playing in his 4th World Cup. So we got a lot of experience, which will hopefully stand us in good stead.
And how important are those players for you that are based abroad coming into this World Cup?
I think the nice thing of those guys playing abroad, bringing back a lot of experience. They're playing with some of the best players in the world. For them to bring that knowledge back into the team only uplifts the team and builds the players and builds the character of the team. And then obviously that experience will stand us in good stead going into the World Cup.
Well, Coach AJ, Coach Justin, thank you so much for your time here this morning. All the best at the World Cup out in Croatia. We'll be crossing fingers for medals.
Thank you.
A medal place for South Africa. We were joined, of course, in studio by Coach Justin, who coaches the men's team, and virtually Coach AJ, who is in charge of the women's team. Of course, they will be jetting off to Croatia for the FIH Indoor Hockey World Cup.